This is Carlos Cousins, and the following literary narrative question is asking about the meaning of a paragraph. Remember, for literary narrative or prose fiction passages, there's no, topic sentence here. So either you go from your memory about what happened here, or you want to really take a close look at the paragraph. If you don't have time to reread, a good strategy is to read the first sentence and the last, just to try to remind yourself after you've read it once before, right before looking at the question, sort of what happened here, what was going on. Let's go ahead and just consider the answer choices, trying to remember here together. A man recalls a visit to the gardens 15 years earlier when he asked a woman to marry him, but was rejected. Now, the first thing here is, was it to the same gardens then? Was it to Kew Gardens? Well, he does say 15 years ago I came here with Lily, and we know that this is taking place at Kew Gardens, so that looks good so far. 15 years ago then also, so that, satisfies that then. When he asked a woman to marry him but was rejected. Well, he came here with Lily, it says, and then in the next sentence it says, I begged her to marry me. So that looks good. He asked a woman to marry him. Now, was he rejected? That's the last one here. Well, it doesn't really say straight up. We start talking about her shoes, the silver buckle at the shoe, and we start talking about this dragonfly. About the shoe, it says, all the time I spoke to her, I saw her shoe, and when it moved impatiently, I knew without looking up what she was going to say. So we know that he could tell what she was going to say from looking at the shoe, but we don't know if she said yes or no yet. So the shoe didn't help us very much. What about the dragonfly? He says, my love, my desire were in the dragonfly. For some reason I thought that if it settled there on that leaf, the broad one with the red flower in the middle of it, if the dragonfly settled on the leaf, she would say yes at once. So he really gives a lot of meaning to what the dragonfly is going to do. But the dragonfly ends up going round and round. It never settled anywhere. Okay, so if he's remembering that that's what he believed, and he seems to have been right then, right? He's just like, oh, does he say, I knew? What does he say? For some reason, I thought, okay, that's great. But because it never settled anywhere here, we can guess that it didn't land on the leaf. So she didn't say yes. She ended up saying not. And of course, he goes on, of course not, happily not. Or I shouldn't be walking here with Eleanor and the children. Eleanor seems to be a different person, the woman he's with now, and not Lily. So it looks like she really did say no, and that's why he's not with Lily right now. So yeah, he probably was rejected. And that's what makes answer choice A here the best answer choice. Let's go ahead and consider the others. A man is irritated by a dragonfly as he walks through the gardens remembering a woman he once loved. Well, he is walking through the gardens remembering a woman he once loved. But he's not irritated by the dragonfly. The dragonfly has a lot of meaning for him. For him, his love and his desire are sort of symbolized by the dragonfly. And he's looking for a sign of some sort from nature in that dragonfly. So it has a lot of meaning. It's not that he's annoyed by it. He's using it to, sort of allay his anxiety regarding whether or not Lily's going to say yes. A man imagines himself walking through the gardens, asking another woman to marry him, while a dragonfly hovers above him. Well, a lot of things are happening here. So yes, he's walking through the gardens, asking another woman to marry him, while a dragonfly does hover up above him in this little scene here. But is this an imagining merely, or a memory? He is saying 15 years ago. The problem here is very literal. The word imagines implies that it didn't really happen, that it's some sort of fantasy that he just conjured up in his mind. But because this did happen, it's a memory, imagines isn't a good enough word here, so we can go ahead and get rid of that one. And the last one, a man sees his wife's reflection in a shoe buckle. Oh, well, that's not, we know that this is not true. It was the movement of the shoe buckle that made him, without looking up, know what she was going to say. It's not that he saw the reflection of Lily, and definitely not his wife's reflection. They weren't married yet. He was begging her to marry. So already we can cross this one out for that reason. I hope that helped with this problem, and happy prepping.